You're safe here. You made it through today. Your racing heart can finally slow. He's already waiting for you with arms wide open. Come, weary traveler. Come rest. You've been running so long, haven't you? Running from worry, running towards solutions, running through endless lists and obligations. Your feet are tired from chasing after peace in all the wrong places. Your mind is exhausted from trying to figure everything out. Your heart is weary from carrying burdens that were never meant to be yours alone. But tonight, you can stop running. Picture yourself walking down a quiet cobblestone path as the sun sets behind ancient hills. The air is cooling, and there's a gentleness in the evening breeze that whispers against your skin. Your steps have slowed now, no longer hurried by urgency or driven by fear. With each footfall on these smooth stones, you feel something shifting in your chest, a loosening, a softening. Ahead of you, warm golden light spills from the windows of a simple stone house. The light dances and flickers, candlelight, welcoming and alive. You can see the glow painting the path before your feet, and something deep within your soul recognizes this place. This is where you've been trying to get to all along, isn't it? Not a physical destination, but a spiritual home. A place where running finally ends. Listen, can you hear that? It's the sound of your own breathing beginning to slow, in and out. Your shoulders are starting to drop away from your ears. The tension you didn't even realize you were holding is beginning to melt like wax near a warm flame. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. These aren't just words written on a page 2,000 years ago. They're an invitation being whispered to your heart right now, in this moment, as you sit here ready to finally stop running. The wooden door of that stone house opens, and there he is. Jesus, waiting just as he promised he would be. His eyes hold no judgment for how long it took you to get here, no impatience for all the detours you've taken. There's only love, pure, patient, endless love. He doesn't call you to hurry up. He doesn't tap his foot or check the time. He simply stands there, arms open, with all the time in the world. I've been waiting for you, he says, and his voice carries the warmth of 1,000 summer evenings. Not waiting impatiently, not waiting with conditions, just waiting with love. You step across the threshold, and immediately you feel it, that sense of coming home after the longest journey of your life. The air inside is warm and golden, filled with the soft light of oil lamps casting dancing shadows on stone walls. There's a chair by the fireplace, and somehow you know it was placed there just for you. A soft woolen blanket rests on its arm, as if someone who loves you very much prepared this space with infinite care. As you move toward that chair, you feel Jesus walking beside you. His presence isn't overwhelming or demanding. It's simply there, steady and sure as your own heartbeat. When you sink into the chair, you feel your body responding in ways it hasn't in so long. Your breathing deepens naturally. Your muscles begin to remember what it feels like to be truly supported. The fire crackles softly, and in its gentle rhythm, you hear something like a lullaby. The flames dance higher and lower, and your eyelids begin to follow their peaceful rhythm. This is what you've been searching for in all your running. Not another destination to reach, but a place to finally be still. Jesus settles into the chair beside you, and you can sense his presence like warmth from the fire. He's not here to add to your to-do list or give you more things to figure out. He's simply here to be with you, to sit with you in this sacred stillness, to let you remember what it feels like to belong somewhere completely. You don't have to go anywhere else tonight. he says softly. You don't have to solve anything or fix anything or become anything other than what you already are. Outside, the world continues its frantic pace, but in here, time moves differently. In here, there's no rush, no deadline, no pressure to perform. There's only this, the gentle crackling of the fire, the soft light on ancient stones, and the overwhelming sense that you are exactly where you belong. Your breathing has slowed now to match the rhythm of perfect peace. In and out, in and out. Each breath releases a little more of the tension you've been carrying. Each exhale lets go of another piece of the restlessness that has driven you for so long. The moonlight begins to stream through the windows, painting silver paths across the stone floor. It's the same moon that has watched over countless souls throughout history. The same gentle light that has guided weary travelers home for thousands of years. Tonight, it's watching over you, adding its soft glow to the warmth of the fire and the tenderness of this sacred moment. You can feel it happening now, that deep settling that comes when the soul finally recognizes it's safe. Your restless heart, that heart that has been beating so fast with worry and anxiety and the constant need to keep moving, is beginning to find its natural rhythm again. Like a bird that has been flying against strong winds, finally finding a place to rest its wings. This is how I see you, Jesus whispers, his voice like a gentle breeze. Not as someone who has to keep running to earn my love, not as someone who has to solve every problem to be worthy of rest. I see you as my child, who has been on a long journey and who deserves to come home. The blanket seems to wrap itself around you with invisible, tender hands. It's soft and warm, woven with threads of comfort and peace. As it settles over your shoulders, you feel held in a way that goes beyond the physical. You feel embraced by love itself, surrounded by the very presence of the one who spoke the stars into existence, and yet chooses to sit quietly beside you in this moment. Your eyelids are growing heavier now, not with the weight of exhaustion, but with the blessed heaviness of true relaxation. The kind of heaviness that comes when every muscle in your body finally remembers that it's safe to let go. The kind of drowsiness that wraps around you like the most comfortable embrace you've ever known. Listen to the fire, crackling softly, steadily, like the heartbeat of this sacred space. Each pop and whisper of the flames carries away another worry, another fear, another reason you felt you had to keep running. The fire is burning up all the things that have chased you, all the anxieties that have driven you from place to place, looking for peace in all the wrong locations. You found your way home, Jesus says, and his words settle into your heart like seeds in fertile soil. Your restless heart has found its home in me. You don't have to run anymore, beloved. You don't have to search anymore. You're exactly where you belong. The ancient stones of this place seem to hold centuries of prayers, countless souls who have found their way to this same spiritual refuge. You're part of a great communion of weary hearts who have discovered that running ends here in the presence of perfect love. You're not alone in your exhaustion, and you're not alone in your relief. As the fire burns lower and the moonlight grows stronger, you feel yourself settling deeper into this chair, deeper into this moment, deeper into the arms of the one who has been calling you home all along. Your breathing has found its perfect rhythm now, slow, deep, peaceful. Each breath draws in more of his presence, and each exhale releases more of your need to keep searching. The candlelight flickers on the walls, creating patterns that seem almost like a gentle dance of welcome. The shadows move softly, like angels adjusting their wings to better shelter this sacred moment. Everything in this place speaks of rest, of safety, of coming home after the longest journey. your restless heart has found its home. Not in a place you had to earn through perfect behavior, not in a destination you had to reach through flawless performance, but here, right here, in the simple, profound truth that you are loved beyond measure, just as you are. That heaviness in your chest, that tension in your shoulders. You've been carrying so much that was never meant to be yours alone. Like a traveler who has been walking for miles with a pack full of stones, you've grown so accustomed to the weight that you've forgotten what it feels like to move freely. But tonight, beloved child of God, you don't have to carry it all anymore. Picture yourself walking beside Jesus along a gentle path that leads to a quiet stream. The water moves slowly here, crystal clear and peaceful, catching fragments of starlight on its surface. Ancient willow trees lean over the banks, their long branches swaying softly in the evening breeze, creating natural curtains of privacy around this sacred space. You've been walking for a while now, and with each step, you become more aware of the leather satchel slung across your shoulder. It's old and worn, this bag you've been carrying, stretched and stained from years of use. You can feel its weight pulling at your neck, your back, your very soul. When did it become so heavy? When did carrying it become such an unconscious habit that you barely noticed its burden anymore? Jesus walks beside you in comfortable silence, his presence as steady as the ground beneath your feet. He doesn't rush you or demand that you explain the contents of your bag. He simply accompanies you, matching his pace to yours, letting you feel the safety of his nearness as you approach the water's edge. The stream is shallow here, flowing over smooth stones worn soft by centuries of water. You can hear the gentle melody it makes, not the rushing sound of a hurried river, but the peaceful murmur of water that knows exactly where it's going and takes its time getting there. The sound alone begins to ease something tight in your chest. Would you like to sit for a while? Jesus asks, gesturing to a flat stone beside the water. His voice carries no urgency, no hidden agenda. Just a simple invitation to rest. As you lower yourself onto the stone, the satchel slides from your shoulder with a soft thud beside you. You hadn't realized how much relief that simple motion would bring. Your shoulder immediately begins to relax, no longer pulled downward by the constant weight. You roll your neck gently, feeling muscles stretch and release in ways they haven't in longer than you can remember. Jesus settles beside you on the grass, close enough that you can sense his presence, but giving you all the space you need. In the moonlight, his face is gentle, patient, filled with an understanding that goes deeper than words. He's not here to judge what you've been carrying or to scold you for taking on burdens that weren't yours. He's simply here to help. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. The words float through your mind, not as a command, but as a loving reminder, a gentle invitation to remember that you were never meant to carry everything alone. You look down at the satchel beside you, this faithful companion that has been with you through so many seasons. Your fingers trace its worn leather edges, feeling the places where it's been stretched by the weight of what you've placed inside. When did you start feeling it? Was it when you became the one everyone turned to with their problems? When you appointed yourself the family's official worry keeper? When you decided that being responsible meant carrying everyone else's burdens along with your own? What would you like to look at first? Jesus asks softly. There's no pressure in his question, only gentle curiosity. He's not going to force you to open the bag or demand that you examine its contents. He's simply offering to look with you, to help you carry what's inside, to show you what belongs to you and what doesn't. With trembling fingers, you unbuckle the leather straps. The satchel falls open, revealing smooth stones of various sizes, each one worn by your handling, each one representing something you've been carrying in your heart. Some are small daily worries, minor concerns that somehow feel enormous at 3 a.m. Others are larger, heavier, deep fears about the future, anxiety about your children's well-being, concern for aging parents, financial pressures that seem to have no solution. You reach for one of the smaller stones first. It's smooth and gray, about the size of a marble, but surprisingly heavy in your palm. As you hold it, you recognize what it represents. That constant worry about whether you said the right thing in yesterday's conversation. You've been replaying those words over and over, analyzing every response, wondering if you somehow damaged a relationship without meaning to. This one, you say quietly, holding it up to catch the moonlight. I keep wondering if I hurt someone's feelings, if I should have said something different. Jesus nods with understanding. May I? He asks, extending his scarred hand. When you place the stone in his palm, something beautiful happens. The weight that stone carried seems to dissolve completely. In Jesus' hands, it transforms from a burden into something that looks almost like a pearl. Still the same concern, but now held by someone who can actually do something about it. Relationships require grace for both people, he says gently. You can't control how your words are received, but you can trust that love covers over many misunderstandings. This worry doesn't need to live in your heart anymore. He walks to the edge of the stream and gently places the transformed stone in the water. It settles among the other smooth rocks in the stream, no longer a burden to be carried, but simply a part of the beautiful landscape of this peaceful place. The water flows around it and over it, and you realize that your worry has become just another stone in the foundation of God's care. You reach for another stone, this one larger and darker. As your fingers close around it, your chest tightens. This is the big one. The fear about your family's financial situation. The anxiety about whether there will be enough money for next month's bills. The worry about job security. The pressure to provide for everyone depending on you. This stone has been in your bag so long that it shaped itself to fit perfectly in your palm. This one's heavy, you admit, your voice barely above a whisper. I know, Jesus says simply. I've been watching you carry it. You've been so faithful, so diligent in your worry about provision. But tell me, child, has all this worry added a single day to your life or a single dollar to your account? You shake your head, feeling tears begin to gather in your eyes. The weight of this stone suddenly feels unbearable, not because it's gotten heavier, but because you're finally allowing yourself to feel how much it's been crushing you. Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Not as a platitude or a simple answer to complex problems, but as a gentle reminder of who you belong to. Jesus reaches for this stone too, and again, his touch transforms everything. The crushing weight becomes something manageable, something held by hands that are infinitely stronger than yours. I know about your needs, he says softly. I know about the bills and the responsibilities and the people depending on you. But I also know about my Father's faithfulness, and I know about provision that goes beyond what you can see right now. This stone, too, finds its way to the stream, where it settles in perfectly among the others. The water continues its gentle flow, and you realize that your financial concerns are now part of the foundation upon which God's faithfulness can demonstrate itself. One by one, you examine the contents of your satchel. There's the stone of worry about your child's future. Will they make good choices? Will they be safe? Will they find their way in this complicated world? Jesus receives this one with special tenderness, reminding you that he loves your children even more than you do, that his plans for them are good, that your worry cannot protect them, but your prayers can surround them. There's the stone of concern for your aging parents, their health, their independence, the difficult decisions that may lie ahead. Jesus holds this stone close to his heart for a moment before placing it in the stream. "Honor your father and mother," he whispers, "but remember that honoring them doesn't mean carrying burdens that belong to me. You can love them well without carrying what only I can carry." The stone, representing your work stress, goes into the water too. The pressure to perform, the fear of making mistakes, the weight of others' expectations. "Do everything as unto me." Jesus reminds you gently, but remember that your worth isn't determined by performance. You are my beloved child first, and everything else flows from that identity. Some stones are harder to let go of than others. There's the one representing a relationship that's been struggling, the weight of trying to fix something that requires two people to heal. Your fingers cling to this stone, reluctant to release it. "But what if they need me to carry this?" you ask. "What if letting go means I don't care enough?" Jesus' eyes fill with compassion. Loving someone, well, sometimes means refusing to carry what they need to carry themselves. You can't heal a relationship by yourself, beloved. You can offer love, you can offer forgiveness, you can offer your presence, but you cannot carry their responsibility too. Even this stone finds its way to the stream, where it settles in perfectly among all the others, no longer a burden, but a beautiful part of the foundation of trust. As your satchel grows lighter and lighter, your body responds in ways that surprise you. Your breathing comes easier, as if your lungs have more room to expand. Your shoulders settle into their natural position, no longer pulled forward by invisible weight. The chronic tension in your neck begins to dissolve like mist in morning sunlight. The last stone is perhaps the heaviest of all, a dark, roughly hewn thing that represents your deepest fears about whether you're enough, whether you're doing enough, whether you're worth the love you've been given. This stone has been with you so long that removing it feels frightening. Who will you be without the weight of trying to earn your place in the world? "This one," you say, your voice shaking slightly. "I'm not sure I know how to live without it." Jesus takes this stone with both hands, cradling it like something precious. "This is the stone of human striving," he says softly. "It's the weight of trying to earn what has already been freely given. You are enough, beloved, not because of what you do or how perfectly you perform, but because you are mine. You were enough the moment I chose to love you, and nothing you do or don't do will ever change that." When this stone enters the water, something profound happens. The entire stream seems to shimmer and shift, all the stones you've released, arranging themselves into a beautiful pattern. What had been burdens in your bag have become a foundation in God's hands, a place where His faithfulness can be displayed, where His provision can flow, where His love can be demonstrated. Your satchel lies empty beside you now, collapsed in on itself without the weight it once carried. You feel strangely light, almost dizzy with the relief of it. Is this what freedom feels like? Is this what it means to cast your cares upon the one who cares for you? Jesus stands and extends His hand to help you up. "How do you feel?" he asks, his eyes twinkling with joy at your transformation. You take a few experimental steps, marveling at how different your body feels. Your stride is longer, your posture straighter, your breathing deeper. The chronic ache between your shoulder blades has disappeared completely. You feel like you could walk for miles without fatigue, or perhaps more importantly, you feel like you could sit in perfect stillness without the restless energy that comes from carrying too much. "I feel." You search for words to describe this new sensation. "I feel free. I feel lighter than I've felt in years. I feel like myself again." Jesus smiles, the kind of smile that reaches all the way to His eyes. "This is how I always see you," He says. not weighted down by burdens that were never yours to carry, but free to walk lightly beside me, to rest when you need rest, to trust that I am handling what only I can handle. As you walk back along the path together, your empty satchel slung loosely over your shoulder, you become aware of a new sound, or perhaps the absence of an old sound. The constant mental chatter of worry and anxiety has quieted to a whisper. In its place is something you haven't experienced in so long you'd almost forgotten it existed: peace. The burden you've been carrying isn't yours to hold anymore. It never was. Tonight, by the quiet stream under starlight, you've remembered what it means to be a child instead of carrying the weight of the world. You've discovered that casting your cares upon Him isn't about being irresponsible. It's about being free to love and serve and rest from a place of trust instead of anxiety. Your steps are lighter now, matching the rhythm of a heart that remembers what it means to be held. There are tears you've cried in the darkness, aren't there? Moments when the weight of disappointment felt too heavy to share with anyone, when the ache in your heart seemed too deep for words, when you pressed your face into your pillow and let the sorrow flow in the safety of solitude. Tonight, in this sacred space where your soul can finally breathe, those hidden tears are not forgotten. Every single one has been witnessed, collected, treasured by the one who understands grief more intimately than anyone who has ever walked this earth. Picture yourself in a quiet garden as the night deepens around you. This is not just any garden, but the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus himself came when his heart was overwhelmed with sorrow. Ancient olive trees stretch their gnarled branches overhead, their leaves silver in the moonlight, rustling softly in the evening breeze. The air carries the faint fragrance of jasmine and the earthy scent of well-tended soil. You're not alone here. Jesus sits on a low stone wall nearby, not facing you directly, but positioned so you can see his profile in the gentle light. There's something about his posture, relaxed yet attentive, present but not intrusive, that creates the safest possible space for the tender parts of your heart. This is the same Jesus who wept at Lazarus' tomb, not because he lacked the power to bring his friend back to life, but because he felt the full weight of human sorrow. This is the one who was called a man of sorrows, acquainted with grief, who understands not just the theology of pain, but its actual texture, its weight, its color in the darkness of night. "You keep track of all my sorrows," the psalmist wrote. "You have collected all my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your record?" Tonight, you're going to discover just how literally, how tenderly, how completely this is true. In Jesus' hands rests a small glass vial, no bigger than his palm, intricately crafted and catching the moonlight like captured starlight. As you watch, he holds it up gently, and you can see that it's not empty. Inside, like liquid diamonds, are what appear to be tears, but not just any tears. "Every tear you thought you cried alone," he says softly, his voice barely above a whisper. "I was there. When you buried your face in your hands at the kitchen table after everyone had gone to bed, when you sat in your car in the parking lot and let the disappointment wash over you, when you stood in the shower and let the water mix with your sorrow, I was there and I caught every drop." The vial seems to shimmer and shift, and as you look closer, you begin to recognize specific tears. There, that one near the bottom, that's from the night you realized a dream you'd carried for years wasn't going to come true. Not because you hadn't worked hard enough or wanted it enough, but simply because life had taken a different direction. The grief of letting go of what you thought your story would look like had been almost unbearable. "I remember that night," Jesus says gently, following your gaze. "You felt like you had failed, like all those years of hoping had been wasted, but I saw something different. I saw someone learning to trust me with dreams that didn't unfold as expected. I saw faith being refined, not destroyed. Another tear catches your attention, this one slightly different in color, carrying the weight of a different kind of sorrow. You remember this one too. It fell the day you realized that someone you loved was walking away from everything you'd tried to build together. Not through betrayal or anger, but through the slow, painful erosion of connection that sometimes happens despite everyone's best efforts. The tears of loving someone who chooses a different path, Jesus acknowledges. These are some of the heaviest tears that fall, because they come from a heart that wanted to love well but couldn't control the outcome. You blamed yourself for months, wondering what you could have done differently. His finger traces the side of the vial gently. But I knew the truth, that you loved with the love I gave you, that some departures aren't about failure, but about freedom, that your heart's capacity to grieve this deeply is actually a testament to its capacity to love. There are other tears too, each one a small galaxy of grief in this precious container. The tears of disappointment, when your body didn't cooperate with your hopes for health. The tears of frustration, when your best efforts at parenting seemed to fall short. The tears of loneliness, when you felt invisible in a crowd of people who knew your name but not your heart. I've seen them all, Jesus whispers. The tears you cried in public bathrooms, hoping no one would notice your red eyes when you came out. The tears that fell during worship songs, that touched the ache you couldn't name. The tears that came in the middle of perfectly ordinary moments when grief ambushed you without warning. As you look at this collection of your sorrow, something unexpected happens. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by the weight of so much pain gathered in one place, you feel honored. These tears, which felt so isolating when they fell, suddenly seem precious, significant, worthy of being treasured by the Creator of the universe. Why? You ask, your voice thick with emotion. Why do you keep them? Why do they matter to you? Jesus turns to face you fully now, and in his eyes, you see the answer before he speaks it. Because they came from your heart. Because each one represents a moment when you trusted me enough to feel deeply in my presence. Because tears are not a sign of weakness, beloved. They're a sign of a heart that's fully alive, fully engaged with the reality of living in a broken world while still believing in redemption. He stands and moves closer, settling on the ground beside where you sit. The vial remains in his hands, but now he holds it between the two of you, letting you see your own reflection in its surface along with the treasured contents. When I wept at Lazarus's tomb, he continues, people said, "See how he loved him." Your tears tell the same story. They're evidence of how deeply you love, how fully you invest your heart in the people and dreams and hopes I place in your life. They're proof that you haven't grown cynical or hard, that you still believe things matter enough to grieve when they break. In the gentle breeze, you can hear the olive trees whispering ancient prayers, the same trees that may have witnessed Jesus' own tears on that night when he sweat drops of blood and cried out to his Father about the cup he was about to drink. This garden has held countless tears over the centuries, and somehow that makes your own feel less strange, less shameful. I want to show you something, Jesus says, carefully placing the vial on the stone wall beside him. He reaches toward one of the olive trees and breaks off a small branch, one with fresh leaves, still green and supple. In this tree's rings, you can read the story of every season it has survived. Drought years and abundant years, seasons of pruning and seasons of growth. The difficult seasons don't make it less beautiful. They make it more resilient, more capable of producing fruit that can nourish others. He places the branch in your hands, and as your fingers trace its bark, the tears you've shed, the sorrows you've carried, the disappointments you've weathered, they haven't damaged you. They've deepened you. prepared you to comfort others who will walk similar paths, expanded your capacity for compassion. But I feel broken sometimes, you admit. Like all this grief has cracked something inside me that can't be repaired. Jesus' smile is infinitely tender. Broken doesn't mean worthless, beloved. Some of the most beautiful things in the world are broken open. How else does the seed give birth to the flower? How else does the bud become the bloom? The cracks in your heart aren't flaws. They're places where my light can shine through. A comfortable silence settles over the garden, broken only by the gentle rustling of leaves and the distant sound of water flowing over stones. In this silence, you find yourself able to sit with your own sorrow without trying to fix it or explain it away or rush through it to get to something more comfortable. I've been so afraid of the sadness, you whisper. Afraid that if I really let myself feel it, I'll drown in it. But you haven't drowned, Jesus points out gently. You're here, breathing, living, still capable of love and hope and trust. The sadness hasn't consumed you. It's refined you. It's taught you things about courage and resilience and faith that you could never have learned any other way. He picks up the vial again, holding it up to catch more moonlight. These tears are going to become something beautiful, you know. Not because the pain wasn't real or because the losses weren't significant, but because nothing is wasted in my economy. Every tear, every moment of sorrow, every season of grief is being woven into a story of redemption that's larger than you can see right now. As you watch, something miraculous begins to happen. The vial in Jesus' hands starts to glow with a soft, warm light, and the tears inside begin to transform. They don't disappear, they remain, precious and acknowledged, but they take on new properties. Some seem to crystallize into something that looks like diamonds, catching and reflecting light in ways that create tiny rainbows. Others seem to flow like liquid gold, carrying richness and warmth. This is what happens to surrendered sorrow, Jesus explains. It doesn't disappear, but it transforms. Your tears of disappointment become compassion for others who are disappointed. Your tears of loss become the ability to sit with others in their loss without trying to fix them. Your tears of loneliness become a bridge to others who feel unseen. A gentle breeze stirs the garden, and you notice that some of the transformed tears seem to be lifting from the vial like luminous mist, spreading throughout the garden and beyond. You realize you're witnessing something profound, how your personal pain, when held in the hands of divine love, becomes healing for the world. Where are they going? You ask, watching in wonder as these lights of transformed sorrow drift on the night air. To other gardens, Jesus says simply. To other broken hearts that need to know they're not alone. To other souls who are sitting in darkness, wondering if their tears matter to anyone. Your willingness to let me hold your sorrow has just become comfort for people you may never meet in this lifetime. The weight of this revelation settles over you like a warm blanket. Your hidden tears, the ones you thought no one saw or cared about, have been transformed into instruments of healing. The pain you've carried has become a gift you're offering to the world, simply by allowing it to be held by love itself. I wish I could take away all the things that made you cry, Jesus says softly. But if I did that, I would also have to take away your capacity to feel joy, to love deeply, to hope passionately. Your tears and your laughter come from the same source, a heart that's fully alive and fully engaged with life. As the last of the transformed tears settles back into the vial, now glowing with gentle, sustained light, Jesus places it carefully in your hands. It's warm to the touch, and surprisingly not heavy at all, despite containing years of sorrow. This is yours to keep, he says, not as a burden, but as a reminder. When you're tempted to believe that your pain serves no purpose, remember this night. Remember that every tear you've shed in darkness has been witnessed, treasured, and transformed into light for others. You hold the vial close to your heart, feeling its warmth spread through your chest. The tears you've hidden in the dark are hidden no more. They've been brought into the light, acknowledged, honored, and transformed into something beautiful. The garden around you seems different now, more alive somehow. The olive trees appear to be swaying in a rhythm of gentle blessing, and the air itself feels charged with hope. You've discovered something profound here in this sacred space. Your sorrow doesn't disqualify you from joy, and your tears don't disqualify you from comfort. They qualify you for both, in ways you're only beginning to understand. In this quiet moment, away from all the voices telling you who you should be, can you hear the one voice that matters, the one that calls you beloved? Your breathing has slowed now, hasn't it? The frantic pace of your thoughts is settling like dust after a storm. In this sacred stillness, something beautiful is happening. You're beginning to remember who you are beneath all the roles you play, all the expectations you carry, all the ways you've learned to define yourself by what you do rather than whose you are. Picture yourself sitting beside a perfectly still lake in the early hours of dawn. The water is like polished glass, so clear and calm that it creates a perfect mirror of the sky above. Mist rises gently from the surface, creating soft, ethereal columns that seem to dance between earth and heaven. The air is crisp and clean, carrying the promise of a new day and the peace of the night that's slowly giving way to light. Jesus sits beside you on a smooth log that seems perfectly placed for this moment of rest. He's not rushing you into conversation or agenda. He's simply present, his own breathing steady and peaceful, his presence as calming as the still water before you. There's something about his posture, relaxed, unhurried, completely at ease, that gives you permission to let your own body settle more deeply into rest. "Look," he says softly, pointing to your reflection in the lake's surface. At first, you see what you always see, the face you present to the world, marked by the stress lines that come from carrying too much, the tired eyes that speak of sleepless nights spent worrying, the tension around your mouth that's become so familiar you barely notice it anymore. This is the person who has to have all the answers, who needs to be strong for everyone else, who can't afford to let anyone down. But as you continue to look, as your breathing slows even further and your heart rate settles into a rhythm of perfect peace, something in the reflection begins to shift. The harsh lines of stress seem to soften. The worried expression relaxes into something more natural, more true. It's as if the water is showing you not who you've become under pressure, but who you actually are beneath it all. "I have called you by name, you are mine," Jesus whispers, and the words seem to ripple across the water like a gentle breeze. Not because of what you accomplish, or how well you perform, or how perfectly you meet everyone's expectations. You are mine because I chose you, because I love you, because you are precious in my sight. In the stillness, you can almost hear it. That voice that spoke your name before you were born. That knew you before you knew yourself. That sees you not as the sum of your successes and failures, but as his beloved child. It's been there all along, this voice, but it's been drowned out by so many other voices. The voice of performance that says you're only as good as your last achievement. The voice of comparison that constantly measures you against others. The voice of fear that whispers, you're not enough, not qualified, not worthy of the love you've been given. But in this stillness, those other voices grow quiet, and you can hear the truest voice of all. The one that calls you by your real name, the name written in the book of life, the name that defines you not by what you produce, but by whose you are. When I called the disciples, Jesus says, his voice mixing with the gentle lapping of water against the shore, I didn't call them fishermen or tax collectors. I called them by name: Simon, Andrew, James, John. I saw past their occupations to their identities. I saw past their mistakes to their potential. I saw past their human limitations to their spiritual destiny. A fish jumps in the center of the lake, creating concentric circles that spread outward until they reach the shore where you sit. In those expanding circles, you see something beautiful, a visual representation of how love works, how the truth of your identity in Christ ripples outward to touch every area of your life. And he calls you by name too, Jesus continues. Not by your title at work or your role in the family or your position in the community. He calls you by the name he gave you when he formed you in your mother's womb, when he planned your days before one of them came to be, when he decided that the world needed exactly who you are. The mist rises higher now, creating an almost cathedral-like atmosphere around you. In this sacred space, you feel permission to lay down all the masks you wear, all the personas you've created to meet different people's expectations. Here, you don't have to be the strong one, the responsible one, the one who has it all together. Here, you can simply be yourself, uncertain, sometimes afraid, often tired, but deeply, unconditionally loved. Your reflection in the water shows someone different now. The face looking back at you carries a softness you haven't seen in months, maybe years. The eyes hold peace instead of anxiety, rest instead of restlessness. This is who you are when you're not trying to be anything else. God's beloved child, resting in the security of unchanging love. See what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called children of God, and so we are. The familiar words float through your mind with new meaning. Not children who have to earn their place at the table. Not children who must prove their worth through perfect behavior, but children who belong simply because they are loved. The sun is beginning to rise now, painting the sky in soft pastels of pink and gold. The light catches on the water's surface, transforming your reflection once again. Now you see yourself as you truly are, not perfect, not without struggles or questions or areas of growth, but perfect for God's purposes, exactly who He needs you to be in this moment, in this season, in this life. I know the thoughts I think toward you, Jesus says, his voice blending with the gentle sounds of morning. Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. I've never seen you as your worst moment or your biggest failure. I've always seen you as my beloved, as the one I chose to love, as the one I died to save. A gentle breeze stirs the water, and for a moment, your reflection wavers and shifts. But as it settles again, you realize something profound. The love that defines you doesn't change when the surface of your life is disturbed. It remains constant, like the deep, still waters beneath whatever storms may pass over the surface. You know, Jesus says, his voice carrying the warmth of someone sharing a precious secret, I love watching you discover who you really are. I love seeing the moment when you stop trying so hard to be someone else's version of good enough and start resting in the truth that you already are good enough for me. In this perfect stillness, you can feel it happening. That deep settling that comes when your soul remembers its true home. Your identity doesn't have to be rebuilt every day through achievements and approval. It's already established, already secure, already celebrated in heaven. You are God's beloved child, today and always, whether you feel like it or not, whether you're performing well or struggling, Whether you're on the mountaintop or in the valley, the weight of trying to earn your place in the world begins to lift from your shoulders like morning mist rising from the lake. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone today. You don't have to justify your existence through productivity or perfection. You simply get to be who you are. Imperfect, beloved, chosen, treasured. Neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither the present nor the future, nor any powers, neither height nor depth, nor anything else in all creation will be able to separate you from the love of God that is in Christ Jesus. The words wash over you like a gentle wave. This love is not conditional on your performance. It's not dependent on your mood or your circumstances or your ability to get everything right. The reflection in the lake shows someone at rest now, someone who has remembered that they don't have to carry the weight of proving their worth, because their worth was established by the one whose opinion is the only one that ultimately matters. Your breathing has synchronized with the rhythm of this truth. In with the knowledge that you are loved. Out with the need to earn that love. As the sun climbs higher and the mist begins to clear, you see your reflection with crystal clarity. This is who you are, God's beloved child, chosen before the foundation of the world, known completely and loved unconditionally, created for good works that were prepared in advance for you to walk in, but defined not by those works, but by the one who chose to work through you. Rest in this truth, Jesus whispers, his voice like the gentle lapping of water against the shore. Let it settle into the deepest places of your heart. You are mine, not because you earned it, but because I chose it. You are beloved, not because you're perfect, but because perfect love chose to love you. You are enough, not because you do enough, but because you are enough for me. The stillness surrounds you like a warm embrace, and in that embrace, you remember who you are. Not the sum of your roles and responsibilities, not the product of others' expectations, not the result of your own striving, but simply and profoundly this: God's beloved child, safe in the arms of perfect love, free to rest in the truth of your identity. In the stillness, you remember who you are, and it is enough. You are enough. You have always been enough. His peace doesn't mean your problems disappear. It means you're not facing them alone anymore. Like morning mist that settles gently over sleeping valleys, covering everything in soft, ethereal silence, his peace is beginning to cover you now. Not as the absence of challenges, but as the presence of Jesus in the midst of whatever you're walking through. Can you feel it? That supernatural calm that transcends all understanding is starting to settle over your mind, your heart, your weary body. It moves like mist, gentle, unhurried, covering everything it touches with a blanket of divine tranquility. Picture yourself standing on a hillside as dawn breaks over a quiet valley below. The landscape stretches out before you in soft, muted colors, rolling hills covered in dew-drenched grass, ancient trees standing like gentle guardians, a winding stream that catches the early light and throws it back to the sky in diamonds of reflected glory. Everything is hushed, peaceful, waiting, and then you see it, the mist. It rises from the valley floor like breath made visible, like prayers ascending to heaven, like the very presence of God made manifest in something you can almost touch. It moves with purpose, but without hurry, covering first the lowest places, then spreading upward and outward until it embraces everything in its gentle reach. Jesus stands beside you on this hillside, his own breathing steady and deep, his presence as calming as the scene before you. When he speaks, his voice is soft as the mist itself. This is how my peace comes. he says. Not like a storm that changes everything in an instant, but like mist that settles gently, covering what needs to be covered, bringing rest to what needs to rest. You watch as the mist moves through the valley, and you begin to understand. It doesn't eliminate the rocks or the rough places or the steep paths. It simply covers them with something soft and beautiful, transforming the landscape without changing its essential nature. The challenges are still there, but they're held within something larger, something peaceful, something that speaks of God's presence in every detail. Remember when I was sleeping in the boat during the storm? Jesus asks, his eyes still fixed on the valley below. The disciples were terrified, certain we were all going to perish, but I was at peace. Not because there was no storm, but because I knew whose hands held the storm. As he speaks, you can almost see it. That small fishing boat, tossed by waves that seemed mountains high, disciples bailing water and crying out in fear, and Jesus, peaceful in sleep, his very rest. The storm was real, the danger seemed imminent, but the Prince of Peace was in the boat, and that changed everything. That same peace that allowed me to sleep through the storm is available to you tonight, he continues, his voice mixing with the gentle sounds of morning awakening around you. Not because your storms aren't real, not because your challenges don't matter, but because I am in your boat too. I am in your circumstances, in your uncertainties, in your tomorrow that you can't yet see. The mist in the valley has thickened now, creating an almost dreamlike landscape. You can still see the general shape of things, the curve of the stream, the outline of the trees, the gentle rise and fall of the hills. But everything is softened, made peaceful, transformed by this gentle covering. This is what happens when my peace settles over your life, Jesus explains, gesturing toward the misty valley. Your problems don't disappear, but they're held within something larger. Your fears don't vanish, but they're covered by trust. Your uncertainty doesn't end, but it's embraced by faith. A gentle breeze stirs the air around you, and you feel it, that supernatural peace beginning to settle over your own heart, like mist settling over the valley. It starts in the deepest places first, those hidden corners where your greatest fears and worries live. Like the mist covering the lowest points of the valley, his peace moves into the lowest places of your soul, bringing comfort to the parts of you that have felt most exposed, most vulnerable. Your breathing begins to change, matching the rhythm of this divine tranquility. Each inhale draws in more of his presence, and each exhale releases more of your need to control, to figure everything out, to carry the weight of uncertain tomorrows. In his peace, out your anxiety. In his presence, out your fear. You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. The ancient words float through your consciousness, not as a promise you need to claim, but as a reality you're already experiencing. Your mind, which has been racing from worry to worry like a bird trapped in a cage, is beginning to settle, to stay, to rest in the truth of who he is, rather than the uncertainty of what might be. The mist continues its gentle work in the valley below, and you watch in wonder as it transforms the entire landscape into something that looks almost celestial. This is what his peace does in your life. It doesn't change the basic geography of your circumstances, but it transforms your experience of them. The hill you've been dreading to climb is still there, but now it's covered in something soft and beautiful. The valley you've been afraid to walk through still exists, but now it's filled with the visible presence of God. In this world, you will have trouble, Jesus says, his voice carrying no condemnation, only gentle acknowledgement of reality. But take heart, I have overcome the world. The troubles you face are temporary. The peace I give you is eternal. As you stand there on the hillside, watching the mist work its gentle magic on the landscape below, you feel it happening in your own body. The chronic tension in your shoulders begins to dissolve like morning frost in sunlight. The tight knot in your stomach slowly unravels. The shallow, anxious breathing that has become so habitual you barely noticed, it begins to deepen and slow. Your nervous system, which has been running on high alert for so long, finally receives the message that it's safe to stand down. The hypervigilance that has kept you scanning for threats, planning for disasters, trying to control outcomes you were never meant to control. It all begins to quiet under the gentle influence of supernatural peace. Let your body remember what safety feels like, Jesus says softly. And as he speaks, waves of relaxation move through you like the mist moving through the valley. Your muscles release tension they've been holding for months, maybe years. Your heartbeat slows to a rhythm of trust rather than anxiety. Your mind stops its endless churning and settles into stillness. The sun is higher now, and its light begins to interact with the mist in beautiful ways. Everywhere you look, you see tiny rainbows forming in the water droplets suspended in the air. The ordinary valley has become a place of wonder, transformed by the simple presence of mist and light working together. This is what happens when my peace meets the light of my presence in your life, Jesus explains, pointing to the rainbow-touched mist. Everything becomes beautiful, not perfect, not problem-free, but beautiful in ways you never expected. The very challenges that seemed so threatening become opportunities for my glory to be displayed. A bird calls from somewhere in the misty valley below, its song clear and sweet in the hushed air. Another answers from a different direction, and soon a gentle chorus of morning songs fills the peaceful silence. Even the birds seem to understand something about this kind of peace. It doesn't eliminate life. It enhances it. It doesn't silence the song. It provides the perfect acoustics for it to be heard. Your heart can sing again too, Jesus says, reading your thoughts with the intimacy of someone who knows you better than you know yourself. Maybe not today. Maybe not with the same songs you used to sing, but your heart can find its voice again. Peace doesn't mean the absence of all sound. It means the presence of harmony, even in the midst of life's complex melodies. The mist in the valley is beginning to lift slightly now as the sun climbs higher, but its work is complete. The landscape it leaves behind looks washed, refreshed, renewed. The grass appears greener. The stream runs clearer. Even the stones along the path seem to shine with dew-touched beauty. Everything the mist touched has been made more itself, more beautiful, more alive. This is what my peace does in your life, Jesus says, his voice filled with joy at your growing understanding. It doesn't make you into someone else. It makes you more truly yourself. It doesn't eliminate your personality or your passions or your unique way of moving through the world. It simply covers everything with the beauty of my presence. You close your eyes and feel it. His peace settling over every area of your life like the mist settled over the valley. It covers your relationships, bringing grace for the difficult conversations and patience for the misunderstandings. It covers your work, bringing wisdom for the decisions and strength for the challenges. It covers your health concerns, your financial worries, your fears about the future, not eliminating them, but holding them within something larger, something peaceful, something that speaks of God's faithfulness in every detail. Peace. I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. The familiar words take on new depth as you experience their reality. The world's version of peace requires the elimination of problems. God's version of peace transcends problems. The world's peace depends on circumstances aligning perfectly. God's peace remains constant, regardless of circumstances. Your breathing has synchronized completely now with the rhythm of divine peace. Each breath is a small act of trust, a quiet surrender to the truth that you are held, covered, surrounded by the very presence of the Prince of Peace. The anxiety that drove you to this place of rest seems like a distant memory, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have been changed by the reality of His presence. The mist in the valley continues its gentle dance, sometimes thicker, sometimes thinner, but always present, always working its quiet transformation on everything it touches. This is how His peace works in your life. Constant, but not intrusive, gentle, but powerful, transforming everything it covers into something more beautiful than it was before. Sleep will come easily tonight, Jesus says, His voice now barely above a whisper, blending with the soft sounds of the peaceful morning. When peace covers your mind like mist covers a valley, rest comes naturally. Your body knows how to sleep when your soul knows it's safe. As you open your eyes one more time to look at the mist-covered valley, you understand that you're looking at a picture of your own heart-covered, protected, transformed by the gentle presence of supernatural peace. The challenges are still there, but they're held within something beautiful. The uncertainties remain, but they're embraced by trust. The future is still unknown, but it's covered by the promise of His presence. His peace covers you like morning mist, gentle and complete, transforming everything it touches into something more beautiful than before. As your eyes grow heavy, heaven takes notice. Angels adjust their wings to shelter your dreams, and all of creation settles into the rhythm of divine rest. Tonight, you don't have to make sleep happen. It's a gift that comes naturally when you rest in His presence, carried on the very wings of those who guard your soul. Picture yourself in your own bedroom, but somehow it feels different tonight. The familiar space has been transformed into something sacred, something set apart for holy rest. The air itself seems to shimmer with an invisible presence, and though you cannot see them with your physical eyes, you sense them. The angels who have been assigned to watch over your sleep, to guard your dreams, to ensure that your rest is truly restorative. Your guardian angel settles beside your bed with the gentle rustling of feathers that sound like whispered prayers. The presence is neither intrusive nor overwhelming, but rather like the most comforting companion you could imagine, protective without being possessive, watchful without being anxious, present without being demanding. This is the angel who has been with you through every night of your life, who knows your sleep patterns better than you do, who has caught every nightmare before it could harm your spirit, and blessed every peaceful dream before it could fade. He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. The promise echoes through the room like a lullaby sung by invisible choirs. Tonight, you're going to experience the literal truth of these words, not as a theological concept to be believed, but as a living reality to be experienced. As you lie back against your pillow, you feel it. The weight of celestial covers being drawn up over you, not your earthly blankets, though they remain, but something infinitely more comforting. These are covers woven from the very fabric of divine protection, soft as cloud, silk, warm as love itself, light as mercy, but strong as the promises of God. The angel beside your bed begins to hum, not audibly, but in a frequency your spirit can hear perfectly. It's an ancient melody, older than human civilization, the song that has been sung over sleeping saints throughout all of history. It's the lullaby of heaven, and tonight it's being sung specifically for you. Jesus stands in the doorway of your room, though doorway seems too small a word for His presence. He fills the space without crowding it, brings light without disturbing the perfect dimness needed for sleep. His face holds the same expression He wore when He slept in the boat during the storm. Perfect peace, absolute trust, complete rest, even in the midst of uncertainty. I lie down and sleep. I wake again because the Lord sustains me. He speaks the psalmist's words, but they're not a quote. They're a blessing being pronounced over your night. Tonight, beloved, you can release yourself into sleep with the same confidence. I am sustaining you through every moment of rest. Your eyelids are growing heavier now, and with each blink that lasts a little longer than the one before, you feel yourself sinking deeper into the embrace of supernatural safety. The worries that followed you to bed, the endless to-do list for tomorrow, the conversation you need to have, the decision you need to make, they're not disappearing, but they're being covered by something larger, like stars that are still shining even when clouds pass over them. Your concerns remain, but they're held within the greater reality of God's faithfulness. The angel adjusts its wings again, creating a canopy of protection over your bed. These wings have weathered storms you'll never know about, have deflected attacks on your peace that never reached your consciousness, have carried prayers from your heart to the throne of grace faster than the speed of light. Tonight, they're folded around your rest like the most perfect shelter ever created. He who watches over you will not slumber, Jesus whispers, his voice blending with the angelic humming until you can't tell where one ends and the other begins. While you sleep, I remain awake. While you rest, I keep watch. While you dream, I guard the gates of your heart. A gentle breeze moves through your room, though no windows are open. It's the breath of heaven itself, carrying with it the fragrances of the eternal realm. Not the overwhelming perfume of earthly flowers, but something subtler, something that speaks directly to your soul without overwhelming your senses. It smells like safety, like home, like the very presence of perfect love. Your breathing is slowing now, matching the rhythm of this celestial lullaby. Each inhale draws in more of heaven's peace, and each exhale releases more of earth's anxiety. Your nervous system, which has been running on high alert for so long, finally receives the clear message that it's safe to power down, safe to enter the vulnerable state of sleep, safe to let go of conscious control. The angel beside your bed reaches out with one wing to touch your forehead, and where the feathers brush your skin, you feel waves of calm spreading through your entire body. This is not the touch of a creature, but the touch of a being created specifically to serve and protect, one whose entire existence is devoted to your well-being and God's glory. You don't have to stay awake to keep yourself safe, Jesus says, his voice now so soft it's almost part of your own thoughts. Safety doesn't depend on your vigilance. It depends on mine. You can let your mind rest, let your body sleep, let your spirit float free in dreams, because I am keeping watch over all of it. In the distance, you can hear what sounds like a choir, but it's unlike any earthly music you've ever experienced. This is the sound of angels singing, not in performance, but in worship, their voices creating harmonies that seem to resonate in the very walls of your room. They're singing over your sleep, blessing your dreams, preparing the atmosphere of your rest with the same care that gardeners prepare soil for the most precious seeds. Holy, 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 they sing, but the words don't feel foreign or formal. Instead, they feel like the most natural expression of what surrounds you. Holiness, not as separation, but as complete purity, perfect love, absolute safety. You're sleeping in the Holy of Holies tonight, surrounded by the very presence of the God who calls you his beloved child. Your limbs are growing heavy now, sinking into the mattress as if it were made of the softest cloud. But it's not just physical heaviness, it's the beautiful weight of complete surrender, the blessed heaviness of a soul that has finally found its resting place. Your hands unclench, releasing the invisible burdens you didn't even realize you were gripping. Your jaw relaxes, letting go of tension you've been carrying for months. The guardian angel begins to sing now, joining the distant choir with a voice that's perfectly attuned to your individual need. This angel knows your specific fears, your particular anxieties, your unique sleep challenges, and the song is crafted specifically to address each one. It's a personalized lullaby from heaven, sung by a being who has loved you since before you were born. In peace, I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. The psalm echoes through the room, but now you understand it differently. It's not just a nice verse to quote, it's a description of what's actually happening to you right now. You are lying down in peace. You are dwelling in safety. You are experiencing the reality of divine protection in the most vulnerable moment of your day. Sleep is beginning to claim you now, not as a loss of consciousness, but as an entry into a different kind of awareness. Your dreams tonight will be guarded, filtered through the loving protection of beings whose only job is to ensure that your rest serves your restoration. Nightmares have no power here, in this space protected by angelic wings. Fear cannot penetrate this sanctuary, created specifically for your peace. The room seems to expand around you, or perhaps you're expanding to fill it with perfect rest. The boundaries between sleeping and waking are blurring in the most beautiful way, like colors flowing together in a divine watercolor painting. You're not losing yourself in sleep, you're finding yourself in rest, discovering who you are when you're completely safe, completely loved, completely held. Jesus steps closer to your bed, and his presence is like the warmth of perfect sunlight on your face. Sweet dreams, beloved, he whispers, and as he speaks, you can feel the dreams themselves being prepared, sorted through like a loving parent choosing only the most beautiful bedtime stories for their precious child. May angels guard your sleep and peace surround your dreams, he continues, his blessing settling over you like morning dew on flowers. May your rest be deep and your awakening gentle. May you sleep in the knowledge that you are loved beyond measure and wake with the certainty that my mercies are new every morning. The last thing you're aware of before sleep fully claims you is the gentle sound of wings, not departing, but settling more completely around you. The angels aren't leaving with your consciousness. They're staying for the entire night, keeping watch, standing guard, ensuring that your sleep serves the deepest purposes of restoration and healing. Your breathing has become perfectly rhythmic now, synchronized with the pulse of heaven itself. Each breath is a small prayer of trust, each exhale a tiny act of surrender. You're breathing with the rhythm of eternity, and in that rhythm, you find the deepest rest your soul has ever known. Sleep comes on angels' wings tonight, carrying you into dreams that are blessed, rest that is protected, and peace that surpasses all understanding. You are safe. You are guarded. You are loved beyond measure. And in the morning, when gentle light finds you still held in this divine embrace, you'll wake knowing that the same angels who watched over your sleep will guard your waking hours as well. Morning will come, and when it does, you'll wake up still held in his love. The sun will rise, as it has for countless mornings before this one, painting the sky in shades of hope and promise. And when its gentle light finds you, you'll discover that love hasn't left you even for a moment. You'll wake up exactly where you belong, safe in the arms of perfect love, surrounded by the faithfulness that never sleeps. But for now, in these precious moments before sleep fully claims you, rest in the certainty that this love that holds you tonight will still be holding you when tomorrow dawns. You don't have to figure out tomorrow tonight. You don't have to solve anything or fix anything or become anything other than what you already are, beloved, chosen, treasured beyond measure. Picture the sunrise that awaits you, still hours away, but already being prepared by the same hands that are cradling you now. Somewhere beyond the curve of the earth, light is gathering itself for another daily miracle, another demonstration of God's faithfulness painted across the canvas of the sky. The same God who promises that His mercies are new every morning is already preparing tomorrow's mercies for you, already arranging the grace you'll need for whatever the new day brings. His mercies are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The ancient words whisper through the darkness like a promise written in starlight. Tomorrow's grace is already waiting for you, beloved. Tomorrow's strength is already being prepared. Tomorrow's love is already being poured out, as certain as the sunrise, as reliable as the rhythm of your own heartbeat. Jesus sits beside you now in the gentle darkness, His presence as constant as your breathing, as faithful as the beat of your heart. He's not going anywhere. He's not leaving when you fall asleep, not disappearing when consciousness fades, not abandoning you to face the vulnerable hours of night alone. He keeps watch through every moment, guards every breath, protects every dream. I am with you always, He whispers, His voice softer than silk, gentler than morning mist, not just in the easy moments or the joyful seasons, or the times when you feel close to me. I am with you in the deepest sleep, in the darkest dreams, in the hours when you're too tired to pray or think or do anything but breathe. I am with you always. Your breathing has slowed to the rhythm of perfect trust now. Each breath is a small act of faith, a quiet surrender to the truth that you are held by love itself. In, receiving His presence. Out, releasing your need to control. In, accepting His grace. Out, letting go of your fears about tomorrow. The night around you is full of His presence, charged with the electricity of divine love, humming with the frequency of perfect peace. This isn't just sleep you're entering. It's sacred rest, holy restoration, the kind of deep renewal that can only happen when a soul finally stops running and allows itself to be completely embraced by the one who created it. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. The promise echoes through the darkness. But tonight there is no weeping, only the deep satisfaction of a heart that has found its home. The tears you've shed, the burdens you've carried, the running that finally brought you here, all of it has led to this moment of perfect rest, in perfect love. Your body is settling deeper into the mattress now, every muscle releasing its grip on tension, every cell receiving the message that it's safe to regenerate, safe to restore, safe to heal. Your immune system strengthens in this place of peace. Your nervous system calms to its most natural rhythm. Your mind quiets its endless chatter and settles into the stillness that allows dreams to flow like gentle streams through the landscape of sleep. The guardian angel beside your bed adjusts its wings one final time, creating the perfect atmosphere for the deepest rest. These wings have sheltered you through every night of your life, have protected your sleep from disturbances you never knew, threatened it, have carried your sleeping prayers to the throne of grace on currents of pure love. Sleep now, beloved child of God, Jesus whispers, His voice becoming part of the very air you breathe. Rest in my arms. Let tomorrow take care of itself. You are safe. You are loved. You are home. The room seems to fill with golden light, though your eyes are closed and the night is deep. This is the light of His presence, the glow of perfect love surrounding you like the most beautiful cocoon. In this light, nothing harmful can approach. In this light, only healing and restoration and the deepest peace can dwell. Your thoughts are becoming dreamlike now, floating and soft, like clouds drifting across a peaceful sky. The concerns that seemed so urgent hours ago are fading into gentle whispers, held and transformed by the reality of His faithfulness. Tomorrow's challenges remain, but they're covered by tomorrow's grace. Tomorrow's decisions wait, but they're surrounded by tomorrow's wisdom. The Lord bless you and keep you. The ancient benediction begins to flow over you like the most beautiful river. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Each word of the blessing settles into your soul like seeds in fertile soil, taking root in the deepest places of your heart. You are blessed, not because of what you've accomplished, but because you are his. You are kept, not by your own strength, but by his faithfulness. His face shines on you, not because you've earned it, but because love chooses to love. The night air itself seems to be breathing with you now, inhaling peace and exhaling anything that doesn't belong. In this sacred space, creation itself is conspiring for your rest, aligning itself to provide the perfect environment for the renewal your soul needs. I will both lie down in peace and sleep, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. The psalm whispers itself through your drowsy consciousness, and you understand now that it's not just poetry, it's your reality. You are dwelling in safety. You are lying down in peace. You are sleeping in the arms of the one who alone can provide true security. Your heartbeat is synchronized with the rhythm of eternity now, beating in time with the heart of God himself. This is the most intimate rest, the most complete surrender, the most total trust. Your heart and his heart beating together through the quiet hours of night, your breath and his breath creating the perfect lullaby of love. The darkness around you is not empty, but full of his presence, full of angelic protection, full of the very atmosphere of heaven, settling over your earthly rest. This is what it means to sleep in heavenly places, to rest in the very presence of the God who neither slumbers nor sleeps, but who delights in watching over your sleep. Minutes pass, or maybe hours. Time moves differently here in this place of perfect rest. All that matters is that you are held, surrounded, embraced by love that will never let you go. The arms that hold you now are the same arms that were stretched wide on a cross, the same arms that rolled away the stone, the same arms that will one day welcome you home forever. Until morning light finds you safe in love, Jesus whispers, his words becoming part of your dreams before they fully form. Until the sun rises and shadows flee, until mercies new as morning dew cover your awakening, until grace fresh as dawn light kisses your eyes open. You are loved. You are mine. The last conscious thought that drifts through your mind before sleep claims you completely is the certainty that this love doesn't end with consciousness. It continues through every moment of sleep, every dream, every breath you take through the night. When morning comes, you'll discover that love has been there all along, keeping watch, standing guard, preparing the way for another day of grace. Sleep, beloved child. Rest in arms that will never grow weary of holding you. Dream dreams that are blessed and protected. Let your soul be restored in the depths of divine love. Morning will find you exactly where you are now, safe in love, held by grace, surrounded by the faithfulness that endures forever. Until morning light finds you safe in love. Sleep in perfect peace.